Nancy Green with Film Critique. And I've really enjoyed this show. And one of the things that I wanted to know is there's so much character development and it's been critically acclaimed. But I wanted to know what's some of the flack maybe that you've gotten for this show, some of the criticisms that you've heard, and what do you have to say about that?
I was actually surprised that we didn't get more flack or more criticism for focusing our show on strippers. Obviously there's a history of hypersexualized media images, and the fact that we came to the table with such a humanized and nuanced portrayal of women doing this work, people really couldn't criticize what we were doing in terms of centering our story in this world. The second criticism, which everybody knows that gets me real pissy, is people being like, we don't talk like that. We don't talk like that. Oh, y'all better stop. No. Not today, say not today. We country. Don't play with me. Do not play. People be like, oh my God, they talking like slaves. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that there's a lot of shame in regards to the African-American vernacular, especially those of us down south with our, I'm finna go to the stove. But I think it's just beautiful that we've been able to capture the musicality of our language with no shame, very unapologetic. So that's the one thing that gets me a little pissy. Everybody know that.
Yeah.
I'll piggyback off of Katori's. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, where Katori is from as well. And so that was my biggest thing when people say, we don't talk like that. And I'm like, who? Because that's what my mama, my grandmama, and everybody in the family talks like, and including myself when I go back home and just drop my English teacher, you know what I mean? So that one honestly does upset me a little bit. But other things, I'm just like, you got to watch the show, because I think a lot of perceptions were made before they even gave the show a chance. And then once they watched the show, I've had so many people come back and be like, ooh, I'm so glad I watched it. It's not what I thought.
Yeah. And to piggyback off the piggyback, I will say, I agree with Brandee. A lot of the flack that we got, like a great bulk of it, was from when people saw the trailer and just heard that there was a show being made that revolved around like strippers and the strip club world. We got a lot of, we don't need another show about strippers. We don't want to see, we don't need whores being highlighted. And I always say that there's no, your profession doesn't determine whether or not you're a good human being. Yeah, and there was no flack once the show aired. That is, oh, we don't need that. Everybody's been like, oh my God, I love the show. I love this, I love that. And it's not really about stripping. When we get compliments on the show, it's about the athleticism and like the stories.
No, I'll just say, that I think there was, it's that kind of preconception to the world that we're showing. People think they know what it's like, think they don't want to know anything about it, think it's something they don't need to see, when really it's just storytelling, and that's what we're doing. So I'm so glad for the people who didn't think they were going to watch it, who watched it, and who have come out of it with a different kind of perception and idea and understanding of the girls in the club and what this different world to what they usually live in looks like.
Yeah, I mean, and I totally echo everything that everyone just said. That's why I hadn't said anything, because my family said it. That's the real deal. But I will also say that I think that people had a perception in their minds of not only what the strip club would be, and a lot of people had that perception not having been to a true strip club. So many people were like, oh, that's what it's like? And I was like, wait, you've been judging the strip club, but you've never been. That doesn't make sense to me. It's like, saying you don't like Brussels sprouts, but you never had Brussels sprouts. Try your vegetables. So come on in and see what the people are really like. I think also in playing Uncle Clifford, there's a lot of preconceived notions, and people were able to receive her as this complicated character, and we all are complicated. every single one of us, you know. So having the moniker of Uncle Clifford, but going by pronouns of she and her, and getting people to understand that and grapple with that in their minds has been a journey, but that's a part of life. You know, it's a way to be able to get into the characters more and see their hearts and experience a level of humanity. So I think that that cancels out people's negativity and narrow-mindedness.
Yeah, I agree. You know, it turns into one of those things where if you're going to look at the comments or read the reviews, you have to take the good with the bad. And so there's always going to be someone that has a different perspective. And with me playing Lil Murda on this show, you know, obviously I received a crazy amount of just negative feedback coming from, you know, just being a heterosexual man playing a character that's still trying to find his identity. So kind of weaving through that, learning how to deal with it. And at the same time, just like Nicco said, understanding that it's kind of a narrow mind, kind of just, you know, ignorance to a certain extent, and not saying that in a negative way, but we all can be ignorant towards something and not quite know about it. And so you have to be open to the storytelling. And for those who do come with a perspective that may feel, you know, harsh or negative, you kind of have to open your arms or close your arms and press that block button and erase a comment every now and then if you have to. So it's all part of the game, and it's always going to be like that. I think no matter what show you're on, but P-Valley, of course, we receive them coming from all angles.
Right. And Parker?
I was gonna say I didn't have any flack. I mean, all my DMs were quite positive, to be honest. So like, I didn't really have anything. I don't know. And like on Twitter, I didn't see anything bad per se. I think on the accent part, I'm from Indiana, so I mean, if anything, people wanted my accent to be deeper, and so that's really all it was. You know, came back second season, nothing's better.
Nice. Thank you so much. And I'm really glad to see that, because it's a very rich show, and I enjoy it. There's a lot of artistic work, and the visuals in terms of the coloring, the lighting, all of that is so great. So, and performances. Thank you.
Thank you. We work really hard at that. I mean, Katori on down to all of our production designers, set designers, lighting, costume, hair, makeup, like, it's a lot that goes into this show, and I hope that everyone receives the artistry as well as the heart. You know, I think a lot of times we, as in the African-American community, are accustomed to giving people outside of our community accolades and holding their work up to another standard, but to see something that is coming from us, that sounds like us, that looks like us, and that tastes like us in the language, in the food that's on the screen, and the things that we're talking about. It's a level of comfort. It's a level of comfort, and especially in this time, you know, sometimes you don't know. It's like, that made me feel hugged. Like when you see grandmother making some neck bones, you know, some cornbread, you know, it's like, oh, I want some, you know.
Definitely. Thank you.